Good morning everyone. Today we will discuss about the biotic pollinating agents. So here in biotic pollinating agents, the animals are involved for the pollination process. Here the animals are involved in the pollination process, that is why they are called as zoophily. So that is why they are called as zoophily. So as I told, the animals will involve in the pollination process, right? So they may be insects, bats, snails, so whatever. So they have pollinated. So as we have discussed in earlier classes, so if the insects are pollinated, what we call that one? It is called as entomophily. So if it is the pollination occur by the insects, what we call as entomophily. If it is birds, ornithophily. If it is a bats, chiropterophily. If it is a snails, what we call as, it is malicophily. So even the ants and the beetles also pollinated. If it is the ants are pollinated, so what we called as, if the ants are pollinated, so that we call as myrmecophily. So if it is a beetles, that we call as cantherophily. So here you can see these are the animals which are pollinated. So what will happen? So some of the adaptations are required for the animal pollinating plants. So what are those adaptations? So as we know that in the angiosperm flowers, they are flowering plants, right? So what will happen? The 80% of the angiosperm plant will undergo by the insects pollination. Say they undergo by the insects pollination. So the insects play very important role. They play a vital role in the pollination. So why? Because they 80% of the angiosperm plant are pollinated by the insects. That is why they play an important role. They play a vital role in the process of pollination. Now, as I told, so some of the adaptations are required for the animal pollinating plants. So what are all those adaptations? We will see one by one. So this entomophily, chiropterophily, so that is very much important in the point of NEET. So they may ask in the NEET exams. Please make sure of that and you please aware of those things. Now, as I told, some of the adaptations are required. So, in the angiosperm flower, what will happen? As we know that in cross pollination, it is pollinated, right? So, the pollen grain is transferred from the anther to the stigma. So, who will carry the pollinating agents? So, these here, the animals will carry the pollen grains. So, how they will carry? From the legs. So, first point, the pollen grain should be sticky. It should be sticky. If it is sticky, the insects will take it off. No, the flower should be have a attractive. They should be attract the agents. So the flower should be attractive and they are brightly colored. So that is the first point. The flower should be brightly colored and it should be big in size. So the pollen grain should be what? The pollen grain should be sticky. So now the third point is, so they have to produce the rich nectar. So they have to produce the rich nectar as well as the fragrance. They have to produce the rich nectar and the fragrance to attract the agents. So that is the point. That is another adaptation. If it is the bugs, So in case of bugs, what they will happen, the bugs will smell the bad smell. So the bad odor will attract the bugs too for the pollination process. So some of the plants will also produce the bad odor where the bugs will attract for the pollination. So next, what will happen? Next point is that, so in some of the angiosperm species, what will happen, the small flowers, so there are certain flowers that are very small, they will, what they will do, they will aggregate. So they will aggregate to form a inflorescence. They will form a inflorescence where they can make visible to the agents. So they have to visible, they have to be in a cluster. They will form a cluster of inflorescence, and they will attract the pollinating agents for the pollination purpose. So these are the some of the adaptations are required for the animal pollinating plants. So these angiosperm flowers are being rewarded to animal pollinating plants. So what are the reward? So they will give the fragrance, nectar and the pollen grains. So they have been given the rewards to the animals. So like pollen grain and the nectar. So what will happen? So if I am taking in some species, what they will do? In some species of flowering plant, so they will give a space to the some of the animals, some of the insects to lay the eggs. For example, in the Amorphophallus, which is the tallest, it is a tallest flower which is of 6 feet in height. So they will give the space for the to lay the eggs on the flower. So another example we can give, that is moth and the yucca. Moth and the yucca. So they have a mutualism. They have a mutualism. So how it will work? So what will happen? This moth will lay the egg on the locule of the ovary of the yucca. So they will lay the egg on the locule of the ovary. At the same time, the flower of the yucca will be pollinated by the moth. So this is how they are mutually benefited. So once the moth, so the larva of the moth, what they will do, when the yucca plant, the seed start developing. So when the seeds start developing, by the time the larva of the moth will be released from the egg, and the larva will get the food from the seed. So that is how the mutualism will be occur in between moth and the yucca. So some of the insects, what they will do, they will take only the pollen grain, only the nectar, but they will fail to pollinate it. Pollination will not be occur. They will fail to pollination. So what they will do, those insects are referred as what? Pollen robbers. They are referred as pollen robbers or nectar robbers, we used to call it as. So what they will do, insects ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್ ನ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಪೋಲನ್ ರಾಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ study. So next things we are going to study, it is very much important in the point of view. So you got that? So there is a reward. So the flowers, they will give a reward to the animal pollinating. So the animals and the flowers are mutually benefited. So they will provide the rewards. So that is about the thing. Next we will study about the pollen pistil interaction. So pollen pistil interaction, they may ask for 2 marks as well as the 3 marks in the PU board exam. So it is very much important. Pollen pistil interaction. So what will happen here? So we know that pollination process, right? There will be a transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma, right? That is nothing but the pollination. So we know that the pollen grain are released on the stigmatic surface. These pollen grain will be released on the stigmatic surface. So when they have released, so what are all the things going to happen? So that is nothing but the pollen pistil interaction. So that is nothing but the pollen pistil interaction. So what will happen here? So as the pollination, they won't guarantee, that means they won't guarantee that the transfer of compactable pollen on the stigma of the same species, or often the pollen, if it is a wrong type, either from the same species, or if it is self-incompatible. So if it is a self-incompatible, so they will also deposit it on the stigma. That means if it is the pollen grains compactable ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಇರಬಹುದು, incompatible ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಇರಬಹುದು, ಒಂದೇ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ either from the other species, they also release, they will deposit it on the stigma. But what will happen? So here the pistil, the gynoecium or the stigma will recognize ಯಾವುದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪೋಲನ್ ಅಥವಾ ತಪ್ಪು ಪೋಲನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಪಿಸ್ಟಲ್. ದ ಪಿಸ್ಟಲ್ will have the ability to recognize the compactable and the incompatible pollen grain. So they will recognize. So this recognition is mediated by the chemical components. So this recognition is mediated by the chemical components. So what will happen? So whatever the content in the pollen grain, it will move towards the pollen tube. Now the pollen grain, this pollen will be grow through the stigma and the style. So it will grow through the tissues of the stigma and the pollen style, and they finally reaches to the ovule. So this is known as pollen pistil interaction. But as I told, so pollen will be released in the stigmatic surface, right? So the pistil have a recognition. So once they have recognized the pistil, when they have recognized the pollen, what they will happen? The pollen will start germinating. So this is, you can see here, this is the ungerminated pollen grain. So this is these are the germinated pollen. So once the pistil has recognized the pollen, so what will happen? It leads to the pollen germination. Then they will form a what? Pollen tube. So they will form a pollen tube. So this pollen tube is formed at the one of the germ pore. So we have discussed about the germ pore. While discussing about the structure of the pollen grain, their pollen grain have a two integuments, right? The outer and the inner integuments. The outer integuments, which is a hexine, right? So there is a gap. So this is called as what? Germ pore. See, in this germ pore, the sporopollen, the chemical component, will be completely absent. So these germ pore will form a what? Pollen tube. So this germ pore will form the pollen tube. So who will helps to form this pollen tube? The vegetative cells. The vegetative cells will helps to form the pollen tube. So that is why the vegetative cells are also called as tube cells. So these vegetative cells, what they will do? They will help the germ pore to form the pollen tube. Understood? So that is why the vegetative cells are also called as tube cell. Now, as we know that how the pollen grains are produced. The pollen grains are produced at the 2-cell stage as well as the 3-cell stage. If it is in the 2-cell stage, they will produce a generative cells at the vegetative cells. So as we know that these vegetative cells are help in the formation of the pollen tube, right? So this generative cells, whereas the generative cells, they will undergo mitotic division. There they will form a 2 male gametes. There they will form a two male gametes, whereas in 3-cell stage they will have a 2 generative cells and the 1 vegetative cells at the very beginning. So this is how the pollen grains are produced. So once the male gametes, this tube cells which will carry the male gametes, what they will do, they will enter to the, where they will enter, they will enter to the ovules. How they will enter? So the pollen tube which is carrying the male gamete, they will enter to the embryo sac. The embryo sac which contain what? 7-cell 8 nucleated stage. So we have discussed, right? So by that time what they will do, the pollen tube which is carrying the 2 male gametes, they will enter at the micropylar region. So this is the micropylar region. So they will enter through the micropylar region into the synergids. So in the micropylar tip there is a cellular thickening. There is a cellular thickening called as what? Piliform apparatus. So piliform apparatus play an important role in what? So they will play an important role to guide the pollen tube to enter to the synergids. So this is the synergids. What is this? This is the pollen tube. So this is the micropylar end. So this is the micropylar end. This is the egg cell. Right? This is the egg cell. So this is what? 2 polar nuclei and this is the central cell. So what will happen here? So once the male gametes are discharged in the synergids, what they will do? So one of the male gamete will fuse with the egg cell. Then what they will form? They will form a zygote. So they will form a zygote. So another male gamete which will fuse with the secondary nucleus, that is called as the polar nuclei. When the polar nuclei fuse, once again they will form a secondary nucleus which is called as triple fusion. So this will, one male gamete will fuse with the secondary nucleus, then they will result in the triploid endosperms. They will form a triploid endosperms, and these triploid endosperms will later develop into what? Endosperm. Right? So in most of the angiosperm flower, as I told, they will undergo the double fertilization. So what do you mean by double fertilization? One male gamete, here one male gamete will fuse with the egg cell. One male gamete which will fuse with the egg cell, they will form a zygote. That process we call as what? Syngamy. So that process we call as syngamy. Another male gamete which is fused with the triple, that is secondary nucleus, which will fuse with the secondary nucleus to form a primary endosperm nuclei. They will form a primary endosperm nuclei which is a triple fusion, which will give a double fertilization. So what do you mean by double fertilization then? The process of fertilization which will takes place twice in the embryo sac at a time. So at a time they will fertilize twice in the embryo sac by the 2 male gametes. That is nothing but the double fertilization. So understand, that is nothing but the double fertilization. So this double fertilization was discovered by S.G. Navoschin in the year 1897 or 1898. So in the year 1897 or 1898, so he discovered the double fertilization in the flowers like Lilium and the Flitteraria species. In Lilium and the Flitteraria species, he discovered the double fertilization. Now, so as we know that the most of the angiosperm flower will undergo the double fertilization process, right? So they have followed by the 4 steps. What are those 4 steps? First is the germination of the pollen grain. The pollen germination should be occur, which is followed by the formation of the what? The pollen tube. Second one, the formation of the pollen tube. Next, third one is the entry of the pollen to the where? Ovary. So they will enter to the ovary. Then fourth is the double fertilization. So these four steps are headed for the which leads to the fertilization process in the most of the angiosperm flowers. So these headings. So I'll write one by one. So first one, what will happen? Germination of pollen grain. Second one, formation of pollen tube. Third one, entry of what? Entry of pollen tube into ovule. Fourth is double fertilization. So these are the steps which leads to the post fertilization process event, and they leads to the fertilization in the most of the angiosperm flowers. And this double fertilization, they may ask for 2 marks or the 3 marks, how the double fertilization will be occur. So it is very much important. Double fertilization is nothing but one of the male gametes, the pollen tube which will carry the 2 male gametes. One male gamete will fuse with what? One male gamete will fuse with the egg cell. They will form what? Zygote. That process is nothing but syngamy. So another male gamete will fuse with the what? Secondary nucleus. So that leads to what? Triploid endosperm. So this triple fusion which will occur within the central cells, then they will form a primary endosperm nuclei. So these two, the two fertilization which will occur in the embryo sac twice. So the fertilization will be occur twice in the embryo sac at a time. ಎರಡು fertilization ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? Double fertilization. Understood? So these are very much important. So the pollen pistil interaction. So the pollen pistil interaction is how it is started? From the germination of the pollen grain. So the pollen will be germinated. So once the pistil will select, the pollen start germinating, which is followed by the pollen tube. There will be a formation of pollen tube. Then the pollen tube will be entered to the ovule. So this is nothing but the pollen pistil interaction. So these headings are studied. These headings are studied for the fertilization process in most of the angiosperm flowers. Understood? So it is very much important.